What's going on, team? Proof here, and I know it's been a while. Uh, it's been like 2, 3 weeks since I last put out the video, but for this one, I'm gonna just be talking, rapping, not rapping. I'm not a rapper. Kind of just talking because I know it's been a while, but kind of like just give a little non-face cam update. So if you're doing this while doing chores or something, you can kind of just listen, see how things go. It's kind of something I've been wanting to do for a while, but I've been really busy lately, and yeah. So kind of well, let me start about where I've been. Just been busy working. I've been prepping for ARG Nats coming up next weekend, and between those two things and spending time with my wife, I wanted to had something had to fall to the back burner for a bit, and making videos was it. And haven't been really motivated to put out more Vanguard content lately, mainly because there's no new Spike stuff out, and there's only so many different ways that I can talk about spikes at the moment to where it's gonna either bore me or it's gonna bore other people, and that's not something that I want. So kind of just wanted to talk because I do enjoy talking about Vanguard still, but in terms of putting something creative together, I just haven't had that mojo flowing at the moment. But what I mainly wanted to talk about was Bushiroad tournament structure for a little bit and how I wish it would change. And I heard through the grapevine that they were experimenting or talking about maybe making Vanguard best 2 out of 3. And it's something that I really wanted them to do for a while, mostly because of bias, because there's been a lot of times I've made top 16 but got kind of ousted because they don't do top 16 in Bushiroad. But ARG does it, and they do top 16 best 2 out of 3, which is a far superior format because with variance that comes in card games, this isn't about Vanguard being more luck based than other card games. I'm not about that. I think that's a stupid argument because it's just more in your face about it, unlike other card games with mana systems and what have you, where you can get screwed that way. But that's another story for another day. And where was I? Yeah, sometimes you don't make top 16, but with the way Vanguard's set up, with the way that luck can get you, with like losing the game to a double trigger or double critical when you're at 3, all of a sudden in the best of one world, you are in a whole different side of the bracket where you're trying to fight your way out of being X1 and hoping to not go X2, because you know that the moment you go X2 at the event, your chances of making top 8 are few and far between or next to none. And when you have that type of environment, it kind of makes things less fun or unnecessarily pressure filled, because you know that you need to be X1 to give yourself the best chances of making it. And when you're playing in a round of events that only goes to like round 6 or 7, your chances of making out of there with an X1 record isn't going to be as likely, which makes the whole tournament experience not as fun. Because for me, I'm much more of a competitive player, and I understand that Busher wants to cater to everybody, which is where the free fight stuff comes in. But for me, making my way to wherever the tournament is to lose because my opponent double triggered me, and then the next round I had the G assist and I whiffed it or something like that, it's a lot of investment you're putting into that weekend to have rough variance ruin it for you. So that's where I would like the idea of a top 16 to come into effect for Bushiroad, because if they're going to stick to the best of one format, it caters itself to being a little more lenient when it comes to luck or lack thereof in the face of the tournament. Kind of like when for teams this past, or for us a couple weeks ago, my team, me, Cliff, and Franz, we were on the verge of making top 16 after a rough couple rounds, to where we were feeling like, we could have made top 8, but there was a slim outside chance we could have made it. But if we knew that top 16 was there, we'd have been so much more motivated to do well after a couple of losses, because we know that we could have snuck in despite that, which would have made the whole tournament experience that much more fun, much more impactful. And not impactful because it's not like it's going to change our lives or anything. But excuse me, it would have made things much more upbeat throughout the day, because we are all competitive people, and having lost a game because of some bad luck, or 2 out of 3 of us losing it. I know it's kind of pseudo 2 out of 3, but still, even top 16 there would have been really nice. But like, having those couple rough games changed the course of the whole day for us and our mood in the moment, to where we kind of had to get out of that funk to be able to have a pretty good rest of the tournament experience for us. And that's just something that I would wish Bushiroad would do. I know they would have to tweak their rule structure for it, but they already play fast and loose with it sometimes. Like for us, when it came to Premium Day, we started out with, I want to say, they projected about 8 rounds, but they ended up cutting rounds down because so many teams dropped after a certain point. Because of course, excuse me, when you know if you go X2, you're not gonna make it. Why keep playing? Especially if you have a long trip ahead of you, or you're hungry because the venue has overpriced food or lack of water, other things like that. But if you feel you're out of contention, you're not gonna stick around. And so the rounds got cut there. But you can easily cater the rule round structure to fit to a best of 6 or to a top 16 environment, because you can cut down 1 round, eliminate everybody up to the top 16, and then top 16 goes by much more smoothly because they already rearranged chairs to fit the top contending teams in one area. So the judges are consolidated, the players are consolidated, and as rounds finish, you can much more quickly get on process to go to the next round. You're not waiting 10-15 minutes to get a round processed before you move on to the next round, which is what happens when you have the judges scattered around a big venue hall trying to answer judge questions, or being called or flagged down for judging, to sign slips and turn them into the head judge or to the processor, whoever does that. And the logistics of it all is much more tight and more succinct when it comes to top procedures, because everybody's in one area put together, which makes life much more easier. And I feel that it wouldn't be such a huge additional time piece, or time, what's the word? Like, I don't feel like it would stretch time or make things feel like they're longer by doing this change to top 16, because, as I mentioned before, all the reasons I mentioned before. And then you can have more people competing. You might have people still stick around for a free fight still. Like, if they just miss out on it, they may not be as discouraged. Or, I don't know people's mentality, just the way I'm thinking about it. Like, you might still have people around the venue because they're in contention, and when they're in contention, it might boost the sales of the vendors around, because there might be more high spirits around. You might have more people doing the free fight stuff to see what that's all about. And I feel like overall it might just be a nice little ripple effect throughout the course of what's taking place the day of the event. And yeah, that's just mainly just something I had in mind. I don't expect these to be like super long podcast things if I'm just doing them by myself, but it's something that I've been thinking about doing. I want to get better at kind of just riffing and kind of just doing things on my own, and maybe not in a formal podcast setting, even though those are fun as well. I really enjoy doing podcasts with my friends, but sometimes I just kind of want to talk to you guys, let you guys hear my voice. Whenever there's something Vanguard related that's kind of just sitting on my mind that I want to hash out. But I don't think I nearly answered or talked about this very well, but who knows, I'm still gonna upload it, whatever. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you guys think about Bushiroad expanding their tournament structure. It's really something that I would enjoy seeing, like I mentioned before, just because I like the idea of playing top 16 out, and then maybe, who knows, they might be able to expand out who gets invites. Maybe top 4 gets invites to the top 2, or maybe they might pay for top 2 and then get the other 2 invites. There's ways you can play with the structure to make everybody else make everybody involved feel much more energized about what's going on. Especially if you're not going to go the route of doing cash prizes or other things, because the free prizes, they're nice and all, but we've been wanting more for years now, and they keep giving us those little surveys that they don't do much with, and it seems like a waste of time to fill them out, because every time that I've talked to my friends around me, they always say, yeah, I'm gonna be willing to pay $10-20 to enter the tournament if it means better prizes out in the future, which is partially why I always make a point to try to go to ARG Nats or the invitational circuit, which is where they have the cash prize available at the end, because I like trying to compete for a big prize, and like having the big trophy, having the money, all that stuff like makes me want to do better, makes me want to do well. And yeah, I just want Bushiroad to change their structure, because I really enjoy Vanguard, but trying to compete in a Bushiroad event oftentimes feels bad because of the best of 1 format. And if you're not going to go best of 3, the next best option is to expand who can try to compete in top 16. That just makes most sense to me. And the Bushiroad event, at least for New York for us, ran so efficiently that we were done at, like, at least on the standard day when it had like 1,000 people there or something like that, we were done at a reasonable time. Like, even though we were out of contention, we still went back to our hotel and like chilled for like a solid hour, and it was like 6 o'clock, which is rare, because I know they try to expand these things out to 2 days to accommodate for the standard format and the premium format. But if you're done with like Swiss at like 6 o'clock, you can very easily fill in top 16 in like 2-3 hours, in my opinion. So before I get too rambly and talk in circles, those are just my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you like this little talking head format, because they're easy for me to do. I just don't, if it's not something that people enjoy, I'm not going to keep doing them. And I do want to do more podcasts, either through Skype, because Discord is terrible, or in person with my friends when I'm not busy on the weekend / not tired / being lazy. I do miss podcast Sundays, and I'm sure my friends agree. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Let me know what you guys think about it, and I'll see you in the next one. So peace, be easy.